And we're back. So, if there's anything that I've noticed about, like, the things that the book kept pointing out about the ingredients was, like, it seemed to be that they were all enchanted with elements, like elements of nature. So, I think I might try to see if I can light this candle again.
Fond surely
and
was
see
a
if
special
maybe,
woman.
I don't know. Maybe the will have realized that I need her help. Or maybe I can ask the druid about enchanting things with elements. Or something. I'd like to enchant these hedge clippers. Any ideas? So that is my next best shot. Otherwise, I'm still... Actually, hold on. Can I take this? I know that I can't think of any reason why I would, but can I? That was not my intention,
Hey,
Graham.
now stop slacking, you. You have a family to save and a huge evil to fight, and I'm not gonna stand around here and wait until you're done taking a breather. I mean, kings these days, they don't make them like they used to.
I was trying to take an inventory item. Fine.
Wonder what the chef's got planned for today.
I don't want to hear it. Talk to the spear. What? Negative?
Pussycat.
What? Never mind. No, Graham. Go down the stairs. No, Graham. Down the stairs. I didn't even click and you just changed direction. A lot like that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's go this way. So I guess we're going back to the Isle of the Mists. I mean, the Isle of Wonder, we've pretty much explored. I mean, I don't know what we can do with the, Rotten Tomato and Stick and Mud. But we've pretty much explored that. The Isle of the Sacred Mountain, again, just seems to have nothing on it. And
I don't feel right going on a break when there's such
you've said that
terrible
like
things
27
about.
times,
Oui, je
sir.
le sais. On devrait faire quelque chose pour aider le roi.
Yes, I know. You guys have had this conversation, like, all day. Regardless. So, it's gotta be the Isle of the Mist, because there are all these things we need to put elements into. We need to have Nightshade that has stuff so it doesn't actually kill you. Which is nice, because King's Quest games generally frown upon killing people. And the hedge clippers need to be enchanted, otherwise they don't get strength. Something about the phrase enchanted hedge clippers does not sound right. Just, something bothers me a little bit. Oh! Hi! What are you doing here? Oh my gosh! Oh, and what am I supposed to do about the butterfly? Maybe Hakim will have all the answers. That is Pawn Shop owner's name, right? I really don't know why I just called him that. I'm pretty sure that's his name. Oh my gosh, that is a jackalope. Oh dear. I'm going to look at everything now.
Graham recalls Valanice telling him of meeting such a creature in the desert of Eldritch. Looks like someone who came through the Green Isles had a higher appreciation for the creature's antics than she did.
What on earth is that? Oh, look, the Mask of Eternity.
Is that the Mask of Eternity?
Yes.
Here?
Yep.
But that's impossible. It's sitting in Daventry Castle.
Nope, right there.
How did it end up in... another clever replica. Oh, for a minute there, I was really worried.
What's the little lute?
This odd stringed instrument vaguely resembles a lute, but Graham has
Vaguely
no
resembles a
idea
lute.
how to play it.
Take it anyway.
You have no idea how to play that instrument, Graham. You'll just embarrass yourself. The wandering minstrel life simply isn't for you.
Aw.
Stick to being a king. It's what you're good at.
Can we take the crown?
One Mask of
Or the
Eternity is
mask
trouble
replica?
enough. This one can go to some enthusiast collector with Graham's blessing and mine.
What about this?
So lifelike, and the fur looks so soft. The eyes so big and the feet so big. And the antlers are so pointy.
They don't look pointy.
Well, just in case that thing turns to life and wakes up from some enchanted sleep when touched, Graham decides to keep his hands to himself.
How exactly did they make it? Like, the jackalope was not that big. Whatever, I'm gonna keep looking at things.
Very few times in his life has Graham seen such an incredible collection of odds and ends in the same place. Much of it seems like useless junk, he has to admit, but a lot of items in here catch Graham's discerning eye.
Like?
When you've been adventuring as much as he has, you learn the value of seemingly useless everyday items. The store could be a boon to Graham in his search.
I'm sure.
Graham can't help wondering if this well-made spinning wheel is of the mundane variety, or one of those tricky magic spinning wheels that put you to sleep for 100 years that he's heard about.
Or maybe it turns straw to gold.
Graham really hopes that this is an overgrown rubber ducky and not someone's dinner that
It's
has
green.
been sitting there for who knows how many years. What are the artists thinking? You know, the game designers had to write a description for this green turkey that just showed up here? No one asked if we needed a green turkey. If you only knew all the trouble the artists make designers go through. It's a good thing I'm just a narrator.
I'm so confused. Moving on.
Very few times.
Okay, we know. Okay, what about the anchor?
Seeing the anchor and the ship's wheel on display here makes Graham wonder just how much good they were to the last owner. Very few times.
Okay.
The store. That's an unusual sort of display. Which item is on sale? The axe or the log? Or is it a package deal only?
So one of those sword in the stone things? Can I lift it?
Graham doesn't need an axe, and he definitely doesn't need a log. Very few.
Blur, blur, blur.
Very.
Blur, blur, blur. What about this?
Aren't these...
I don't know. Are they?
Hear ye, now your inner glutton can be satisfied, and you'll never starve again. Daventry's own refilling bowls, used and approved by King Graham himself, whilst he sought the crown of Daventry.
Whilst?
Warning, the contents of this food product may or may not contain any nutritional value. In fact, the contents of this food product and their origins have not been successfully identified. Do not place in oven or heat in microwave.
Microwave?
Oh, sorry, I mistook you for Roger Wilco.
Oh, Roger.
Funny.
Graham still remembers the time Roger crashed into his moat after hitting the don't push button in the original Space Quest 1, the Sarian encounter.
Funny guy, a little bit out there. He insisted he came from the future.
It took the Daventry guards days before they could pull that strange device out of the water.
What did he call it, a space horse?
Ship, Graham. Spaceship.
He kept saying he wanted to be my first knight. I
Wait,
always
what?
thought he was good for cleaning the stables. I wonder where he is now.
Probably crashed at Schloss Ritter.
Where in Daventry is that?
You don't play too many adventure games, do you, Graham?
He's too busy starring
Contrary
in
to
them.
your beliefs, I do. Over and over again.
Oh.
Luckily for you, there is that save and load feature.
Yes, especially on those narrow edges in the early days.
Somebody ought to teach those players how to control those arrows.
It hurt. A lot.
Excuse me, sire?
Yes, I
Are you
can.
talking to yourself?
No.
I'm not crazy. Man, you know how in King's Quest 3 there was that one part at the very end where you had to go up the stairs to go up to where the dragon was? And if you had a keypad, you could just press, 9 or whatever, and it would go diagonally up, and it was perfect. If you did not have a keypad, I definitely played it on a laptop, and it was miserable. I wanted to cry. That aside, I can't think of any reason for them.
Please, let's not talk about Roger for another 5 minutes. There's a game to be played. I mean, there are people to be saved.
Amy.
You needed to have clicked the I and bow first for this message to make any sense. And if you didn't, stop using the icons out of order.
There's an order? I mean, I guess walk, eye, and talk. I guess that's sort of the order they're supposed to be in. I didn't have to use them that way.
The actual wands used by King Graham when
Wands?
defeating the evil wizard, the Mordak.
The
Real
Mordak?
ones? I only remember it was one.
Kind of two.
Marketing ploys.
Okay. For the record, I love the idea that Roger Wilco crashing a spaceship was canon, but I think he died, so...
Very few times.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, look! It's a painting of her magnificent Countess of Pawn Shopnia of Secco. Okay. Alright,
Secco?
okay.
Where are we going
I'm
with
just
that?
making stuff up here. I lost the script to this narration, okay?
Where are we going with the word secco? Like, it looked like second, but it's not...
No slip shoes. Stop falling off those narrow stairs.
Sounds familiar. Do we get random ones? Be quick.
Spider spray. Kills those dangerous giant spiders in one spray.
Oh, jeez. I cannot count how many times I spent wandering around looking for that
Sun
stupid eagle
crystals.
feather.
Sunlight already included.
That one didn't bother me, because getting the sunlight was fine. The crystal was annoying. King's Quest 7.
Underwater breathing potion. What you use when there are no mermaids around. Hag be gone. Gets rid of those hideous, wicked cannibal witches. No slip shoe.
Okay, we're done. Okay then. Hi, Hakim. Can we look at you?
This pleasant, polite, and portly fellow is Hakim, owner of the pawn shop. Knowledgeable of the Isles and a fair-minded businessman, Graham has heard nothing but good things about this man from his son, and
He looks a little
understands
weird.
Hakim's advice and information was instrumental during Alexander's first journey to the Green Isles.
Instrumental, because he
Hakim's
gave him
store
a
holds
flute.
countless oddities, along with numerous normal everyday items, but they all have their uses, as Alexander learned when he relied heavily on those items to aid him in bringing down Vizier Alhazred and reuniting the Isles.
And for goodness sake, he got the magic map here. I don't know what he would have done without that. It's here.
Web Begone, the latest technology in getting rid of those pesky spider webs in the corners of your house.
I need one of those.
Mint candies for customers.
Can we take one?
I think I'll pass.
Aww. Okay, fine. Hey, I would love
Greetings,
to
good merchant.
free a butterfly.
Ah, none other than King Graham himself, honoring this humble man by visiting his store. How could I be of service to you in these tragic times, Your Majesty?
Let's talk about the Green Isles, I guess, though I really want to talk about that
My
one.
son told me stories of how you helped him greatly during his quest. You're a well-traveled man, aren't you?
Like father, like son. They say the riches of knowledge always surpass generations. Funny how the story of a Devontrian seeking this
that what they're
humble
called?
knowledge repeats itself as well.
Contrary to my heart's desires. I'm lucky that the Green Islanders are fair
that what
people
they're
willing
called?
to lend a hand.
The people here in the Isle of the Crown are fairly normal, ordinary people, but with good hearts.
Also, is that
I've
the
always
Deathly
had a taste
Hallows?
for the simple life.
Yet
Hakim's
you've
necklace?
traveled through many lands. Care to enlighten me with some tales of your journeys?
Story time!
I'd be glad to, but my children need me.
I'm sure you can spare a couple of minutes. Let's make a deal.
Ooh.
For every land I tell you about, you tell me the story of one of your adventures. Sounds fair?
Very fair.
Ask away.
Oh dear.
There's the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, the Isle of Wonder, the Isle of the Beast, the Isle of the Crown, of course, and finally, the Isle of Mist.
I thought it was the Isle of the Mists. I swear I read it. I checked it on the map earlier. I swear it's the Isle of the Mists. Maybe it is the... You know what? He said the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, so I'm just gonna give it to Hakim. Oh, this is gonna go on for a while, guys. Let's strap
What do you
in.
have to say about the Isle of Wonders?
Wonder.
If there is a place that this shop belongs to, it is there. Then again, I have never been able to keep an item coming from that island, as they always have a mind of their own.
My son has told me he never ceases to be amazed when traveling on that isle.
Indeed, you shall see it with your own eyes and will not believe it. That is, if your journey takes you there.
I still can't believe how it's ruled by chess pieces.
Yes, but you don't dare call the queens that. They have a short temper. Also, I wouldn't recommend trying to bring them a present. Not even if you have two identical pieces. They will find a difference and fight as they always do. You want to keep away from that.
They resent
I'm
being
glad
called
my queen
chess
doesn't
pieces?
pay attention to that kind of materialistic trivialities.
Why don't you tell me how you two met?
Oh, jeez.
Love stories are one of
Are
my
we just gonna
favorite
recant
kind.
King's Quest 2?
I had been king of Daventry
For anyone
for
who
a few
wasn't paying
years,
attention?
but I was lonely.
Okay.
My advisors would have these festivals where princesses from everywhere would come to meet me, hoping I would be interested in one of them. I never was, however, even though they generally seemed very nice.
Ah, the picky kind, aren't we?
One lonely night, the mirror showed me an image of this beautiful woman.
Ah, the same way King Alexander found Cosima.
Yes, but what intrigued me most was what I saw within her eyes.
Yeah.
I knew I had to
Let's
search
make it about
for
her eyes, Grant.
I traveled through the lands of Kalima and into this strange magical world beyond it until I found that tower where my Valenice was imprisoned.
After having
Who
made out
imprisoned
with the
her?
mermaid.
A wicked witch by the name of Hagatha. They say she was jealous of Valenice's beauty. It was all too strange to me, as when I finally found Valenice, she never recalled having met her. In fact, she cannot recall much of her life before coming to that tower.
What happened to her? The witch, I mean.
I don't know. We never heard from her again.
Ah,
Killed her
but you
in
found the
King's
love
Quest
of your
2
life.
Plus,
Yes, and I'm very happy for it.
but I guess that's not canon. Okay, this is actually really interesting. Him telling the stories of the past games. This is the fangirl in me
Why
is
do you
excited.
call it the Isle of the Beast?
Has it Alexander ever told you?
That's a great
The
story.
prince that lives there now used to be a vicious beast.
Alexander almost
Is he
became
dangerous?
Not anymore. As a matter of fact, he never was.
one. Kind of a dick though.
But you know how people can react to appearances. Some of the folks in this town believe I'm not someone to trust because of the wares I sell. Some believe they are too strange, if you know what I mean.
That's absurd.
Wow.
But that's how this world works. People often judge by what they see on the surface and fear that which they do not understand.
How is the beast changed into a prince?
He was actually under a spell and was finally returned to his original form by the power of true love.
Or Stockholm
I
syndrome.
remember now. Alexander did tell me this story. I apologize. My memory is not quite what it used to be.
No need to. You know the rest of the story then. The prince is now a great merchant, and I'm happy to do business with him.
Trade. What a wonder of the new world. Which reminds me, I now owe you a story.
Oh dear.
Aren't we all great merchants?
Are we?
This is not the first time my family has been in danger.
Really?
A story of rescuing. Do tell.
A couple of
we
years
gonna tell
ago,
about the,
just not long after
gay
Alexander
tailor?
had returned
It's a
home,
great story.
an evil wizard by the name of Mordak captured not only my family, but my whole castle.
My goodness, he must have been quite powerful to take an entire castle.
Imagine my shock when, coming home one day from my daily walk through the forests of Daventry, my castle was nowhere to be found.
And then this
How
fucking
did
owl
you
showed
find
up.
this evil wizard and your family and home?
Fucking
I was
owl.
lucky enough to make some friends who knew where he was. This chap, Cedric by name, a talking owl,
chap.
took me to the land of Serenia, where I later confronted
Serenia?
the blackguard in a magic duel.
Ah, that's where the wands come from. Wasn't he the same one that captured Cosima?
Oh right, you do
Yes,
care about this.
Mordak. He's gone from the face of the world now, vanished in a cloud of smoke.
Poof.
I don't mean to be a spreader of bad omens, but I've heard of worse stories where the villains never die, even when one's sure they did.
He's gone, believe you me.
Hard not to.
Yeah, I don't know. The being put out never quite seemed right. But let's move on.
What can you tell me about this island?
There's not much to say about the good old Isle of the Crown that you may
Good old.
have not seen already. People here live a happy life, and the king and queen of the isle are the real rulers of all the islands, even though some Green Islanders, especially the winged ones,
Those
tend to
bitches.
disagree.
Rivalry of power. I've always considered it absurd. Real power lies in union.
Like I said, there's nothing much I can say that you may not already know, but the deal is a deal, so let's hear your story.
Not all the
Give him a
great
really
stories
boring
about my
story.
kingdom involve me. The most recent I recall had me trapped.
Are we gonna
Are you
recant?
talking about the incident
Mask
with
of
the Mask of
Eternity?
Eternity? I know your son was deeply disturbed during the events, but I never got to know exactly what happened.
Neither did I,
A
actually.
corrupted man, Lacredo, sought to stop the flow of the world we know. Who knows with what intentions? By destroying a sacred artifact known as the Mask of Eternity, he turned everything near it into stone. The magic was so strong that had this villager of Daventry not stopped it, it would have spread even further.
Did you know this man?
Not before the incident. Quiet young man, but very brave. Connor by name.
A very
He
odd
defended his
accent.
country with honor, defeated Lacredo, and restored the mask. He earned well his new title of Captain of the Royal Guard.
Did he not come to the wedding?
He stayed back at home to defend the castle.
You must trust him deeply.
I do, good man. I do.
I thought it was Lacredo. Guess I could be wrong.
Can you tell me of the Isle of Mist? I only just saw it yesterday myself.
Still don't think it's what it's
I can see
called.
why everyone knows so little about it.
So
The
hard to see.
druids are not very friendly to strangers.
They believe we will destroy their forest. I do not blame them. That is, in part, what we've done with the rest of the isles.
I'm a believer of the concept of nature and civilization being able to coexist myself.
Try telling them that. Anyway, no, I unfortunately don't know much about their isle.
But you owe me a story
I've heard
anyway.
stories of a fantastic natural temple in the heart of the isle. But at this point, you probably know more about that mysterious place than I do.
Rosella would love to explore that island. She's a very brave girl, did you know?
I haven't had the honor to meet the princess yet, but I don't doubt your words.
Years ago, and mere minutes after Alexander returned home, I fell ill, and my heart nearly gave out entirely. It was Rosella who endeavored to travel into the fairy lands of Tamir to find a magical fruit that restored my health.
Did she tell you much about Tamir? I've always wanted to visit.
Maybe you can ask her personally when she recovers. What I do know is that she battled this evil witch called Lalote. It was there where she met her true love, Edgar, who was kept under a spell by a witch that turned him into a scared ghoul.
Did she come across many interesting items during her journey?
Now that you mention
As
it,
I said, I don't know details, but I do know she found some strange artifact she called the Pandora's Box.
the Pandora's box.
That's strange. Very strange indeed.
What is?
Not long ago, a man dressed in a cloak.
Oh dear.
And now that I think about it, it was very similar to that of the stranger at the wedding.
Hakeem.
He came asking me about such an artifact.
Are you certain?
I'm very sure of it.
Didn't you learn your lesson in King's Quest 6? Men in creepy cloaks creeping around your pawn shop are never good. Let's ask about the Isle of the Sacred Mountain
Let's
before we
see.
get back to this.
What do you know about the Isle of the Sacred Mountain?
A land of legends, of great things and great adventures. The winged ones believe themselves to be supreme creatures. I can't blame them. I've heard their stories. This idea of supremacy has been carried through generations.
Have you known them personally?
They are not as unreachable as they used to be, though
There are
some
stairs
may
there now.
disagree.
What do you mean by this?
It is true they open their doors by removing the cliffs of logic. However, their land lies among places only reachable by the power of flight. How in the world could a human reach these lands?
Good point.
I could bet all the money I don't have that they are perfectly aware of this. And knowing how they can be, I wouldn't wonder that they find amusement in this fact.
Shouldn't we give them the benefit of the doubt?
No.
When we are speaking about the winged people, there's no place for doubt.
They're
Doubt.
definitely bitches.
That reminds me of how I became a king.
Oh dear.
I was such a young and inexperienced chap then.
Chap. What's with the
I'm
word
all
chap?
ears.
One fine day, I was called by our former king, my dear Edward, may his soul rest in peace.
So you are not of royal origins?
No, but Edward didn't have any children, so I was tested. He told me it was for the good of his people and his kingdom, but he knew, better than I at the moment, that it was a trial. So I did as he told me and retrieved 3 magic treasures that we still have in possession.
What are these goodies?
Treasures. The magic shield with the power to ensure
wanna hear
victory
about
to
Graham's
whomever
goodies.
wields it. The magic chest of
Whoever
infinite, never-ending
wields.
gold. And the magic mirror
Who is
with
the
the power
subject?
of seeing into those places we cannot see.
Ah, they sound like a precious collection of items.
They're much more than that. King Edward made mistakes during his life and lost them. The kingdom prospered again only when they were returned.
I'm sure you're not a man that believes in good luck. 3 treasures can't make a kingdom prosper on their own.
And nor can one man on his own. Luckily, I've had the help of individuals who strongly believe in our kingdom.
Quick rundown. Who is a subject? Who can do something? So, whoever wields it. Whom is an object. So it's, I'm going to call whomever. So technically, I guess the question would be, whom you gonna call? But that would sound ridiculous. Whom is not a fancy form of the word who. Grimmer, listen over.
Did this man mention why he wanted the artifact?
It was awesome.
No, he was very rude, and he demanded information.
So I punched him in the
He
face.
never said what for.
Have you seen him again?
As a matter of fact, I turned away, and when I turned back, he was gone.
Perhaps it was the same man.
I'm almost sure of it now.
Way to go,
I wish
Hakeem.
I knew more to help you, Your Majesty.
I think you've helped enough. The Pandora's box.
Okay.
It has been a nice chat, but I had better return to my children.
Or my adventure
Feel
game.
free to stop by and trade stories anytime.
Okay, that was fun. Anyway, it says you need a crystal tear for the web be gone. Does this count as a crystal tear? It's not melting.
He would not be interested in that item. The sign reads, "Will trade for crystal tear."
Crystal tear. What about this? This has an eye.
He would not be.
Okay. Are you like a shell?
He would not be.
Okay. Would you like them?
He would not be.
Okay. Will you help me if I ask really, really nicely?
Graham is generous.
Okay. What about this cloak that I've gotten absolutely no use out of?
He would not be.
Okay. Well, I've gotten use out of it, but now it has no use. Is this the cloak the guy was wearing?
He would not be.
Okay. I'm a terrible person. You want this?
He would not be.
Okay. I think I'm giving him, like, everything in my inventory. Okay, a crystal tear. How on earth can I get a crystal tear? And why on earth would he want one specifically for this web be gone? It's a little infuriating. Man, I was kind of hoping to get some items out of that, as opposed to some Easter eggs and a lot of dialogue, which were not necessarily mutually exclusive. He said something about, like, a secret nature temple thing on the Isle of the Mists. So maybe I could talk to the Archdruid about that, and maybe he'd know something. I had a plan at the beginning of this video. I was gonna go to the Isle of the Mists, and it was gonna be great. And I've gotten sidetracked for an entire video. It's fine though. The
Good day, Hassan.
only thing
Good day
is
indeed.
that
Ready to sail?
I don't remember where I was going with that sentence. Nope. Totally got away from me there. Okay. Oh. See? It says Isle of the Mists. Isle of the Beast, Isle of Wonder, singular, Isle of the Sacred Mountain, the Isle of Crown? Wait a minute. No. That is incorrect. Map. It's definitely the Isle of the Crown. That's wrong. Well, whatever. I wonder what it said in the updated map from episode 4, because that's wrong. But whatever. Moving on. I just wish that they were consistent, you know? It would just be a lot nicer if they just all called it the same thing. And if the same thing was correct. But I think I'm going to stop this video here. And I guess I'll come back later. I will see you guys later.